Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special edition career strategy session. I have with me tonight Vanne McMillan, fashion artist extraordinaire, bomb stylist. You saw some of the images, some of her work when she styled me for my trip to New York a few months ago. Tonight, I'm going to be talking to her about navigating the fashion career jungle. So, I want to remind you all that you can watch the live replay, and I'll be sending the link out for the live replay tomorrow morning, which will be Monday morning. But if you want to ask questions tonight, pop them in the Q&A feature and also tweet us. My handle is JV Twilly, and Bonnie's handle is
Vanne McMillan, Instagram, Twitter, everything. This Vanne McMillan, VANNE McMillan.
Awesome. And invite your friends to join us. So we're going to get started in just a second. So if you haven't, go ahead and pop in some questions in the Q&A and get ready for our live session.
Just okay. Oh, Q&A.
So let me give you a little background on Vanne. Vanne is a fashion artist based out of Atlanta. She is a designer. She is a stylist. And she has a background in visual merchandising for some of the largest brands. And she's worked with people from magazines, from the industry best. She's been on New York Fashion Week. She has a very, very dope resume. And you can go to her website to see some of her work. So fill in the gaps for us, Vanne, and tell us more about you before we hop into the Q&A.
About me, I am originally from Kansas City, Missouri. Shout out to Kansas City. We won the World Series with Go Royals. I'm originally from Kansas City. Moved here about 4 years ago. Basically chased my dreams. Literally packed up my car for $200 and was like, I'm out of here. It's time for me to go see what else the world has to offer. 4 years, it's been tough, but I have to say I'm very blessed. I've worked with magazines such as Upscale Magazine, Shooting Magazine, Inspired. My last editorial spread I styled was for Kiss Magazine, which is a really popular industry magazine, as well as done costuming for Sony Pictures, Paramount Pictures, and Tom Cruise's production called Minna. I do visual displays for visual displays in windows and dressing the mannequins and creating art displays for Saks Fifth Avenue at Fifth Plaza. I've also done work for Alice and Olivia, doing their window displays, local boutiques.
And that's local Atlanta boutiques.
Yeah, well, I've done local for Kansas City before I moved down here. And back at home, before I moved down here, I did visuals for Banana Republic, Gap, and Forever 21. So, and Macy's was another big one I did down here in Atlanta. So yeah, but most of the local boutiques I do now are here in Atlanta, Georgia.
So that just gives you like a visual of the scale of work that she's doing, because when we talk about local boutique, we're not talking about small town USA. These are major brands here in Atlanta. So let's get started with, what did you want to be when you were a little girl?
Oh God, my goal, actually, ironically enough, which is so funny, it's my cousin's birthday, and I said it to say, my goal was to be either a doctor or a scientist to find the cure for HIV and AIDS, because I have a cousin who is homosexual and he's had HIV and AIDS my entire life, and I was just determined to find his cure, and it's Tim's birthday today. So if you're watching, cousin, happy birthday.
So from wanting to be a scientist and save the world, which you're doing a form of that because you're giving a lot of people self-esteem and changing their perceptions of themselves. How did you come into the fashion industry?
Well, my natural gift, as my mother likes to say, just that before I could even talk, I could draw and sketch and illustrate things. So I think that was like my first ticket into it. But when I got about 16, I met a young lady named Sasha Flynn, who's actually a really good friend of Jackie's and I. She knew she wanted to be a fashion designer and go to school for fashion. And Sasha had a really hard time trying to draw. So we kind of cheated. I drew her portfolio so she could get into the school that she wanted to go to, and it worked. And so from there, we kind of started just brainstorming ideas with stuff, because she knew she wanted to do fashion, I could do art. And she wanted to raise money for a class trip through some type of fundraiser. So she was like, well, let's do a fashion show. And simultaneously, I was a deb, and we had a talent show. And I didn't want to do like your basic stuff. Can I play an instrument? Can I tap dance? Whatever. I was like, well, I'm going to do fashion show too. And so from that point on, it became like a God-given gift because we were riding down the street one day and I just said MiLKshaKe. She was like, no, that's whack, no MiLKshaKe. Khaleesi's talking about MiLKshaKe. That's not really, appropriate. And I was just like, no, like rock with it. I was like, just take me somewhere so I can draw it on the napkin. I'm like, and if you think it's cool, like we're going to rock with it. And I drew it on the napkin. She loved it. And we literally, every blank t-shirt, jean, whatever, I took a fabric marker and we just wrote MiLKshaKe all over everything. And in high school, we started selling these t-shirts and jeans like $25 a pop and just started creating a little buzz. And once I started watching that buzz go, it was like, okay, I think this is kind of what I'm supposed to be here for, my purpose of making clothes and, using my art to express myself for the rest of my life. So that's kind of how it really started off.
Okay, so MiLKshaKe was your first line, your first brand. Mm-hmm. And let's forward to how you got to Atlanta and your first job in the industry in the city of Atlanta. How did you land that job?
Well, okay, so I was in Kansas City and I have a girlfriend back at home who has a non-for-profit and they were kind of based in Kansas City and Atlanta. So she referred me to her counterpart down here and said, I know a young girl who really wants to get out of Kansas City, but she kind of needs some help, getting out. So I came down here because I actually showcased I got asked to showcase in a fashion show in Atlanta. So I brought my clothes, brought one of my models. We met with with Anika, who is the counterpart to my friend back at home. And Anika introduced me to another young lady who had a brand new magazine coming out. And they needed a full-time stylist for the magazine. Well, at the time, I wasn't a stylist. I was just a designer. And what I realized from Kansas City to Atlanta is that you can't get your clothes out down here unless you have a stylist. And I just was like, well, I'm a stylist then. Like, I just kind of faked the funk. Was like, well, I'm a stylist. Okay, cool. I'm like, because I just want people to see my clothes by any means necessary. So I basically told my mom I had a job. And this job clearly was not paying because it's a brand new magazine. I really had nowhere to live down here. Like I didn't have anything set in stone. And I just came down here, went to set for the very first photo shoot, had no idea what I was doing, didn't have any type of tools or anything that I have now 4 years later. But I literally learned so much. And it was just literally by network. That's how I got my first job to my second job. And that's really still how I get my jobs now. All of my jobs literally come from referrals from friends or clients or anything. That's really kind of how the whole fashion world works is somebody saw your work, loved your work, and referred you to somebody else.
So talk about how you tweeted this guy to get a job.
Oh, good old Michael Knight. I'm going to make sure Michael sees this video. So Michael Knight is a designer from Project Runway. If anybody, many people will remember, he was one of the first, I want to say African Americans to actually get into the top 3, but in that particular year, they made an extension and gave top 4 to go to Bryant Park for Fashion Week that year for the competition. And I watched that whole season. I just thought he was uber amazing. I thought everything he had going on was to cast me out, and I was determined to work with this man. So when I got down here, Anika, the same young lady who kind of instrumented me to the magazine, has a not-for-profit, and he donated one of the dresses. And I was like, yo, Michael Knight, make it happen. Like, I have to meet Michael Knight. Like, somebody has to put me in cahoots with Michael Knight. She was like, I can see what I can do, but like he just donated a dress, who was public relations. I don't really know him. So next thing you know, I'm on Twitter stalking, like borderline. He probably should have called police on me because I'm like, where are you? I want to intern. Is there any way I can meet you? Like, whatever I had to do, even to the point where I didn't get to tell this last night. I was living in Fayetteville with my grandmother, and for some reason, he was at the Fayetteville Joanne's out there, and he walked out. I'm on the phone with my mom. I said, I gotta go. Click, Michael Knight, excuse me, sir. Like, I need to intern with you. And he thought I was like downright crazy. And so one day he just finally was like, girl, just come on and have an interview so I can at least see what you're talking about because you were really persistent. And my interview turned into something of amazing relationship. at the time it was 3 apprentices he had, and I ended up being like kind of like the last one out of the 3 he picked, and worked with him for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, and I now have a permanent big brother that literally helps me through everything I ever need when it comes to my career or even life itself. If I just need some good advice or whatever, but he literally changed my whole career by introducing me to so many people, exposing me to stuff. We went to he took me to Jeffrey's fashion show, which is a real high dollar red carpet charity event. Like the seats are like $10,000 a piece. And his PR got him 2 tickets, and he decided to take little old me. And from that interaction with the people that were there, rubbing elbows and talking, now I went from being just this girl in Kansas City girl in Atlanta to, oh, you're Michael Knight's apprentice. Oh, I remember you're Michael Knight's apprentice. Oh yeah, he taught me really how to you. I can use you for this and use you for that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So it worked out beautifully, and I can't even. Michael, thank you.
And that just goes to show anybody navigating the career jungle, especially in the fashion industry, you gotta have persistence. So let's shift gears a little bit, Vanne, and talk about a career struggle. Take us to like the exact moment, one specific story where it was really hard for you, but you overcame that using your creativity and your given talent that you talked about, the ability to draw.
I'll take you back to about 1.5 years ago. I was in a real, almost like what we like to call your breakthrough moment, where you're really getting ready to go through your breakthrough of that life change, but you're so deeply invested into all the negativity, you can't really see that you're that close, and everything around you is kind of really bad. So at that particular time, I was house hopping. I didn't have a place to live, and I was living, staying on friends' couches and everything else, just like get to and from work and get to shoots or whatever, just to make myself still okay. And I got so down to the point that I was ready to give up on everything. I was just like, I can't, trying to fight, fight for this dream, trying to keep going. It's just becoming more of a hassle than it is something that I love to do now, because I don't have money for gas to get there. I don't have money to even feed myself. Like it's becoming too much. And literally, God just said a couple words to me, shook me up, shook me right, and was like, you just need to start drawing. And when I just started kind of sketching and drawing, I like to draw a lot of silly cartoon faces of like tongue sticking out and stuff. I don't know why, that's just kind of my thing. But once I started doing that, my stress started coming down. And once the stress kind of came down and I'm starting to draw, I started posting pictures like on Instagram and Facebook of sketches that I'm making or like new designs I'm making. I started getting orders. So the money and the things that I was frustrated about not having so I can meet other needs was literally starting to come in, because my whole drama was I didn't have a creative space to actually create in. So working on top of working, and then me posting stuff, getting attention of different people, money started kind of coming in. I was able to, now I'm moving to my own apartment, pay off my car, do other things that I wanted to do. To now where my whole apartment, like, and I think all my friends can vouch this, you come in my apartment, it's like my creative haven. It's not really it's still a normal living space, but it's a place for me to actually paint and sew, and I have my wardrobe space and all that good stuff, so I can really work. So yeah, I think art saved my life.
So that's really interesting. And you mentioned your friends a couple of times, and the power of connections, how you leverage your relationship with your friend who has the foundation in St. Louis. So let's just give Show Me Shoes a shout out.
Oh, of course. Show Me Shoes and Prom Project 6 is coming up. If you have not signed up for volunteering, please go to showmeshoes.org. It is the best organization, if you ask me. Show Me Shoes, Anika and Shalon literally probably are one of the biggest instruments in my career, if I do say so myself.
So let's talk about that a little bit. The power of having a good circle of people around you who are willing to make those connections and introductions.
Right.
And how do you maintain those relationships, especially when you're working as much as you are now?
Right.
Sometimes 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah. One thing I try to do, even with, I'm very blessed with all my circles, from my circles back at home in Kansas City to even my circles down here, that a lot of my friends, ironically enough, we kind of all are in our entrepreneur spirit, so we feed off of each other a lot, which is easy to to stay connected with them. But even for the ones that aren't, I always just try to, like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Or just try to even keep them updated on what's going on with me, just in case anything I have going on is of value to them. So I think one of the biggest ways I might do it is through my networking. So like Anika and Siobhan did great things for me. So now this year, Show Me Shoes, the Prime Project has gotten so big. I'm now able to do more besides just come and style the girls. They needed some actual, what I'm trying to say, they needed some actual fixturing, like rolling racks and fixtures to hold all the dresses. And I was able to get Saks to actually give me a couple of the racks to give to them. So I try my best to make sure anybody who has, you know, just openly, voluntarily helped me, I want to make sure I always give back to them, because not that they're even asking for it, but that's just my simple way of saying thank you. And I'm indebted to everybody, so I always try to say thank you. And anyway.
And speaking of thank yous, last night I was at an event where you were speaking and you were talking about your daily inspiration. So, and the role that thank yous play in that is your relationship and your spiritual connection to God.
Yeah.
So kind of tell us where you find your inspiration as someone in the fashion industry where there's so many things coming at you so quick.
Right.
How do you find your inspiration?
I'm ratchet, so like I said last night, all my inspiration comes from like trap music. Just because I relate to it. Like, I'm from Kansas City, and like I said last night, I'm from a city where Jim Crow laws still exist, and a lot of my classmates are dead, and you know, I have classmates. You know, we got three options of Black women in Kansas City. You're either going to be in prison, be pregnant, or be in jail. Unless you have upper education and a really, really strong support system, you're really not gonna make it out. Like I'm not supposed to be here right now having these kind of conversations with you. Like I can name how many people that got out of Kansas City and actually did something with themselves. So my daily inspiration literally is through music. It's my way of tuning out the rest of the world. I actually listen to a lot of lyrics when I listen to songs. And if you actually, even though trap music and maybe Big Sean, I listen to a lot of Big Sean, just because his stuff is real big on karma, spirits, and energy. And that's kind of my whole philosophy of life. Even though it sounds crazy because they might be cussing and, you know, all the profane language, the actual message about what they're trying to say is really, really awesome. Like, I was telling Keisha the other day, I made Keisha listen to it, and she was like, okay, I get it, but she wasn't really with it. Obviously, Alcina has a new song, has a new album out, and the last song on his album is called Encore. And the lyrics go, I always thought it would be this good, but I never had it this good. And he starts listing all the bad times he had, and then as soon as he gets done listening to bad times, he starts listening to the good times. So I listen to stuff like that because it reminds me of like where I came from, the things I've seen, the things I've done, and literally how far I've projected from point A to now point. It's like I'm at G now. I'm still working at my way up the alphabet, but just to be at this level to do these type of things, like you could have never told me I'll be, you know, doing this. So I definitely listen to a lot of good music.
So in addition to finding inspiration from music and having mentors like Michael Knight,
yeah,
who are some other people in the fashion industry that you look up to?
I definitely look up to, I don't know Carmen's last name. She's a stylist in New York. She's actually Rihanna's old stylist. Her name is Style Carmen on Instagram. She's probably one of the best stylists out in the game, as me, female-wise, just because she creates statements on artists that are, like, you'll never forget them. Like, you'll never forget them. So I definitely look up to her. I definitely look up to Janelle Monáe because she's from Kansas City, and she literally is the best representation of Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, because she's always uber humble and respectable, and she delivers a great message out to the world and universe. My mom is probably my biggest inspiration, just because I know of all the things she's been through and all the things that she sacrificed just for me to be sitting here talking to y'all right now. So, like, and my friends, like, all of my friends, my friend here, all my Atlanta friends, all my Kansas City friends are my inspiration, because once I see, I'm competitive, so when I see y'all moving and grooving, I'm like, well, let me catch up, because if I'm not moving and grooving with my friends, I'm going to get kicked to the circle. And I want to be the one. So you guys are definitely major, major inspiration to me all the time.
So I just want to remind you all, we have about 10 minutes left on this career strategy session. If you have questions, you can tweet me or Bonnie. My handle is @JBTwilly, and she is @Vanne McMillan. And you can also use the Q&A feature here on Google Hangout to ask questions. And I'm going to give her some rapid fire questions now, and she's just going to give us a short answer. Again, we have our phones in our hands, so you can ask her questions on Twitter or here on Google Hangouts. So the first rapid fire question is...
What does it mean, do I have to answer fast?
Yes, it means like the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, God.
Answer,
Why would you do that with me? Okay, I'm ready.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
So the first thing is, if you had to start over tomorrow on a different planet in a different world, but you had your same skill set, what would be the first things that you would do to establish your brand?
On a different planet?
Yeah.
Do I need to pick a planet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just what would be the first couple of things that you would do to establish your brand? You have all of the skills that you have now.
I'll just start painting. I'll literally just start painting. Like, that's probably the first thing I would do because that's my foundation for everything. That's my foundation for design. A foundation for styling. I would even if it's just with some dirt, I would just start drawing or painting on some surface because that's how I get a lot of my thoughts out, and people like seeing my thoughts. So,
and what would be the second thing?
I don't know. I mean, I'll probably make up some new rules like you don't have to wear clothes, just everybody wear socks. So you have to have really cool socks.
She has really cool socks on today, by the way. You all can't see it and don't. Okay, so the next rapid fire question is, what is your go-to fashion resource?
My go-to fashion resource is
rapid fire. So
the internet, literally, Google, literally, because I can type in anything and I'll find it that fast.
What's your favorite TV show?
I don't have one.
Okay. Who is your favorite person from history?
Dorothy Dandridge.
Okay, why?
Because she's just a black icon. She's just a bomb. Like, she embraced being a thug and a lady at the same time.
Okay, what's your go-to happy hour drink?
Bloody Marys.
And what's the last book that you read?
Girl Boss.
Yes.
I read Girl Boss, and it was actually really good. So
Sophia Amoruso. Yeah, that is a good book. I actually read that one as well.
I'm trying to finish Rich Dad Poor Dad if I ever finish it. It's actually pretty good. I just haven't finished it yet.
All right, so we are about to wrap up here shortly. Vanne, I want you to give some inspiration to maybe someone who is in high school who wants to be in the fashion industry. Give them some tips of things that they can be doing now as a high school student to prepare for the real fashion industry world.
Internships. I say that because your education is amazing and valuable, but when it comes to fashion, I can't speak for any other field because I'm not in any other, but when it comes to fashion, they do not teach you about this cutthroat industry the way that it really is, and actually how to maneuver through these jobs and what to do and protocols and stuff. So the second you can get an internship, your parents sign off for you to get an internship in New York or California or down here or whatever, take it immediately. I know it won't be any pay, but it will change your life and it will open so many doors. And that's literally how I've navigated through the fashion jungle, is because I've had so many internships that I've obtained so much knowledge that I'm very useful to people now.
So let's take it a step down, because I know some people that might be watching this are very early on in their career.
Mm.
Give them some places where they can go to find the information about an internship.
Google is I need to buy stock in Google. Google will save your life. Type in how to get a fashion internship, and it will be articles after articles, websites, everything all over the place, just to show you how to even go about getting a fashion internship. A lot of stylists, or not even the stylists, a lot of fashion people have websites, and they talk about the jobs that the previous jobs they had. Just go up and just look them up. That's all I can say. Just look them up.
And I would say, in addition to that, there's a couple of things that you want to do on your first date to make a good impression, because one of the things that Vanne has been really good at is she always delivers the results. She's going in there, she's working hard. So let's talk about some of the small work, because I know you shared this with me before. Just the ripping and running and returns is not a glamorous job starting off.
It's not a glamorous job, period. Like, a lot of people think it's glamorous because you see just this picture or this glimpse of somebody looking amazing. The actual grit groundwork and what a stylist or fashion designer is doing every day is not glamorous at all. So a typical day of me getting ready for a photo shoot would be me probably driving around all of Atlanta, Georgia, literally in the traffic, going to Lenox, going to Fitz, going to West End, driving all the way out to Riverdale, wherever I have to go to find these pieces, whether it just be a pair of earrings, shoes, clothes, or whatever. Once I get all of the things that are required for my shoot, and on top of that, I have to create relationships with these stores, because some of these stores I either have to buy this stuff out of my budget or the budget of whoever I'm working with, or I have pull options, which is I've created a relationship with the store. They trust me to take their stuff, and I'm going to make sure they get major exposure, major credit for whatever I'm using this item for. So I go get all my stuff. Once I get all my stuff, now I take it home and prep it. So steaming, pinning, if I need to take it to my homegirl to like do like quick tailoring stuff that I can take out, so I can take the stuff back. Prepping the shoes, just prep. So that's just all like day 1 and day 2. Now day 3 is the actual event or the photo shoot, or I'm dressing the artist or whatever it is, music video. Now when I get there, I dress them, I wait. I just kind of sit there and wait until we're done. It might be a 16-hour day. It might be a 4-hour photo shoot. It might be a red carpet event, whatever it is. Now, once they're done with the clothes, now it's a matter of deprepping everything and then taking everything back if the client doesn't buy anything. So,
right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it. So for those who are just starting out, I just wanted to give you a glimpse into the life. And she just gave you a very short snippet of everything that goes on. So before we wrap up, tell us about your services as a fashion artist, your body on call, your closet styling and things like that, and tell people how to get in touch with you.
Okay. You can definitely get in touch with me through all social media at Vanne McMillan. That's just my name, first and last name. My website is the exact same. It's VanneMcMillan.com. It's VanneMcMillan.com. Services, I offer all styling services: personal shopping, personal styling, wardrobe styling, visual merchandising, custom design for my design clients that love some of my pieces. But Vanne on Call is probably one of my bigger services because it's a very affordable service for everybody who wants to have a stylist, because stylists can be really, really, really expensive. My prices just went up this year, so I know I'm starting to get out of a bracket that I was last year. But Vanne on Call, I've tried to keep it affordable for everybody. So what Vanne on Call is basically one-on-one time with me, like just like we're Google Hangouts with you guys right now. You'll be one-on-one with me, and I will tell you what you're wearing, how to wear it, how to make it better, how to kind of minimize it or whatever. I've had a client do Vanne on Call with me, and we literally talked about shapewear, undergarments, just so she knew what was proper, how to properly wear a bra, what's the proper size. To a lot of women, your foundation is gonna make your clothes better. So we'll literally just talk one-on-one for you to book 30 minutes or an hour, and we'll talk for that time to make sure that you are going to look fabulous, for your next event or several events. I've had a client literally use Vanne on Call for, a little bit more than an hour to help me assess their closet, just to tell them, what are good staples, what are not good staples, stuff that they don't have to have, whatever. So Vanne on Call is very affordable. It's 30 minutes for $50 or 60 minutes for $100. And if you do 2 hours, I think I have it for $150. So I offer that, as well as a closet organization, wardrobe styling, which is completely different from personal styling, which is when I'm coming on set for music videos, editorial shoots, movies, or TV. And then I offer my visual display services to, stores and up-and-coming stores that might need some help trying to do their windows marketing-wise in the fashion world. So I offer a lot, so make sure you go check it out. And I have a blog on there as well, so I talk about, I'm getting better with talking about trends, but a lot of them is my personal style, just to see how I wear stuff, because my style, I think, is very different. I'm kind of androgynous mixed with urban chic type, so you definitely see how I take men's clothes and make them feminine. So yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
So she's done a wonderful job styling me, as I mentioned before. You can go back to my Instagram. She's tagged in some of those posts, and I'll make sure I share some of those this week on Throwback Thursday so that you can check out her work. She is phenomenal. One of the things that I love about working with Vanne is she'll come to your existing closet. So you don't need a $10,000 budget to get brand new clothes. She can work with you with what you have in your current wardrobe. And really tell you the staple pieces that you need to go out and invest in moving forward. So it's amazing. It's an amazing experience to work with her, whether it's for your birthday or you are going for a job interview. You definitely need to hit her up. Check out her services. She is phenomenal. And if I use her personally, you know that she is top notch. So
I made the cut. Yes.
So again, check out her website, Vanne McMillan. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight for this career strategy session. The replay will be available. So if you know someone who wants to navigate the fashion industry or is just looking to work with a fashion stylist, you definitely want to send them this link so that they can hear this interview. Have a good night, everyone.